counterfeit fiat dollars to avoid default. Now, just like we saw on Meet the Press the week before last, them re-airing the clip of Geithner a few months ago, Treasury Secretary saying there will not be a AAA rating reduction. It will not happen. It's impossible. We've seen that clip. I played it yesterday on the radio. Well, now we have this new clip of Greenspan last night or yesterday morning on Sunday on Meet the Press saying that it's impossible for the United States to default because they'll just print more money. Now, that is taking the audience of NBC's Meet the Press as complete morons, and I don't think they are complete morons, as evidenced by these polls that the American people now buy nothing that these politicians and banksters say. But saying that they'll hyperinflate and print dollars is what Mexico did. That's why pesos aren't worth that much. That's what Nigeria and Zimbabwe and Germany did in the Weimar Republic after World War I into the 20s and 30s with the Depression. So he's saying we'll never default. It's impossible because we'll just print money. Well, that's another form of default. And that's the real reason this country's losing its credit rating. In fact, that's what S&P said. That's what J.P. Morgan says in their report that's in CNBC today. In fact, let me read that to you before we get to Greenspan. They also see a lot of upside for raw sugar prices, possibly doubling or more in a spike as a result of weakness in the U.S. dollar and rising inflation. That's the two top analysts at J.P. Morgan. And again, that's the tip of the pyramid. That's the very top. That's the New World Order talking. And of course, that's the third paragraph in this article. Gold may hit $2,500 in 2011, J.P. Morgan. Because of why? What do they say? Inflation. Okay, now, it's inflation that's driving up prices and killing people on fixed incomes and destroying business. But Greenspan says, don't worry, and he says it arrogantly with a straight face. You see the host of the show and the guest literally looking on like he has just murdered a child or something because it's so asinine. It's like Geithner 2 years ago when he went to China and spoke before their economics professors and their graduate students and said, we're not devaluing the dollar. And they all laughed at him because they had basic economic sense. But it's Greenspan laughing at you in this clip when he says, we won't default. All right. It's so incredible. I don't even know how else to describe it. It is pure arrogance and fraud and deception in your face. He's telling you we're going to default through hyperinflation. Let's go to that clip.
Are U.S. Treasury bonds still safe to invest in?
Very much so. I think this is not an issue of credit rating. The United States can pay any debt it has because we can always print money to do that. So there is zero probability of default.
Sure, they can pay off debts by further hyperinflating the currency. Sure. I mean, a tube of toothpaste, I remember 5 years ago, cost maybe $1, $2. I was at the store the other day, they were $7.95 and higher. I mean, everybody knows prices are exploding. And for people on Social Security and low-wage earners and people, this is going to be devastating. We've already seen in the last decade a 40% drop in the value of the dollar, according to the Congressional Budget Office. Now they're talking about taking what value it's got and completely devaluing it. We're not just talking about run-of-the-mill hyperinflation. We're talking about serious inflation with a statement like that. Now, we will continue to cover all of these latest developments tomorrow on my syndicated radio broadcast that we also simulcast here on the web at prisonplanet.tv. In closing, I want to hit on some other news that we've not yet covered that is of great import as well. Former First Lady Jackie Fingers Johnson and Texan tycoons in JFK assassination. The legendary historian Arthur Schlesinger interviewed her shortly after Kennedy was killed right in front of her in the car. And it turns out that her statements on tapes now released dovetails with E. Howard Hunt, the former top CIA assassin who gave the deathbed confession to his son that we premiered on my syndicated radio broadcast, and with Madeline Duncan Brown, the admitted mistress of LBJ, who also said that he bragged to her that he had had Kennedy killed. So we now have it from E. Howard Hunt, the mistress of LBJ. We also have it from Mr. McClellan, who was admittedly LBJ's lawyer for many years here in Austin, who wrote a best-selling book on the subject. So it wouldn't be the first time that a prince kills the king so he can become the king, or a vice president is involved with the military-industrial complex and the banking cartel. And the same banking cartel that was involved killing JFK because he signed an executive order to issue U.S. government greenbacks and to begin abolishing the Federal Reserve are the people that are in control of our country, and it is an outside foreign power. The Daily Mail also reported on the story. Explosive Jackie O tapes reveal how she believed Lyndon Baines Johnson killed JFK. Continuing with other important news here that we'll cover more tomorrow on the syndicated radio show. The mayor of Philadelphia is issuing a 9 o'clock curfew because roving mobs and gangs robbing and stealing and attacking crowds. We're seeing this frightening development popping up all over the United States, and England is now in day 3 of riots with dozens of cars and large buildings being completely torched. More of the flash mobs and societal disintegration that was predicted by the Pentagon and others many years ago. This is all part of social engineering. And continuing, Irish social minister has announced that if you want your child benefits that you get in tax incentives when you have children, that you will have to get vaccinations. So the beginning of forced vaccinations with the social protection minister, Joan Burton. Very, very scary move there, because everything you see in Europe is later exported here. We have some good news I'd like to close out with tonight. Al Gore, according to press that was there at the Globalist Aspen Institute meeting, threw a fit and used expletives repeatedly, according to Climate Depot and Mark Moreno, top reporter covering the climate tax fraud. And Al Gore basically conceded defeat and said that they are completely losing and don't have any way of getting their global taxation system through. Again, this is only an Infowars breaking news report. We're going to have these on a routine but random basis here at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. But starting September 1st, that's a Thursday, we are going to have nightly 30-minute condensed, focused, hardcore news transmission. And if you're watching this out in cyberspace and you'd like to have access to it first and in higher quality, and if you'd like to help support and be part of the front line in exposing the New World Order crime cartel, please consider subscribing for 15 cents a day at PrisonPlanet.tv. It helps us with our research, our production, and the work we're doing here. We couldn't have done any of this without you. We'd also like viewers and supporters and people who believe in liberty and the First Amendment to also visit the secure online video bookstore and to also check out the pro-liberty apparel we've developed to also help spread the word at Infowars.com. I'm Alex Jones signing off from the front lines of the InfoWar. You have been warned. Now please warn others. The global government that we have warned about for so long is now upon us.
Infowars.com for 16 years has led the charge against the technocrats. We have had unrivaled success in unlocking minds, expanding paradigms, and rallying the people to face the New World Order. No one can deny that our media operation is the tip of the spear, and it's because of our success that we have a responsibility to intensify our operations against the globalists 110%. We're only a month away from launching a weeknight news broadcast. The social network is nearing completion as well. The free newsletter is reaching hundreds of thousands. Please spread the word about Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Sign up at the top of Infowars.com for the free Infowars Insider email with exclusive video and text reports as well as breaking news. Look in the mirror. You are the resistance. It is up to us, the Info Warriors, to take the initiative and to defeat the globalist.